Hello, Internet. So yeah, comic book talks for this week. Well, part two, because part one was like the old issues, because it's been a while for me to catch up. And now we got a whole new release week this week. So yeah, I'm going to start off with Vendetta Part 2 for Uncanny X-Force, and then Uncanny X-Men, and All New X-Men. So yeah, using the same format, 3 issues per video. I might do more because I also picked up Daredevil, Miracle Man, Unity. There's something else I picked up too, I don't remember. But yeah. So yeah, Cable and X-Force. So this continues from the previous issue of where I left off in the last video of Vendetta Part 1, where Bishop has come back, or Hope and Cable know that Bishop is now in the present, and then Hope goes to hunt him down, but then she's kidnapped and taken to the... Well, we don't know where she's been taken. Like, her and Bishop are taken somewhere. And then this issue picks up where the last issue left off, where Cable is confronting Uncanny X-Force in LA. And so, you know, Psylocke and Psylocke and Cable drop their weapons and they start to talk it out about, you know, what's going on. And like, we don't need to fight, we can talk this out. But things escalate, and so that doesn't happen. And, you know, Cable's like, well, you should know me well enough that you're not gonna I won't let you stop me from going to go and retrieve Hope. So, because they're like, we can't let you go to go get Hope, because we know that when you go, you're gonna kill Bishop. So they're like, we can't let you do that, because he's on our team. And so Cable's like, after they drop their guns, like, Cable picks up his gun and he's about to like fire on him, but then Storm like zaps him with some lightning, and then off panel they're like hit by something, like, or like when a boom booms explosions, and then it shows that Cable's team's there. See, it's like they're both X-Force, so it's like I'm trying to like think of how I'm gonna like talk about them, but whatever. Cable's team is there, Colossus, Dr. Nemesis, Domino, Forge, and Boom Boom. They show up and they're like, hey, you guys got our deed, so we're not gonna let you just zap them. And then it goes back into wherever Hope and Bishop are, because it didn't really say where they're at. It seems like they're in the future, I'm guessing, because that's what it seemed like they're like where they're at. It never said like specifically like the year or place, but it did say like certain areas of like where they would be. So I'm guessing they're in like an alternate future. But yeah, you have Bishop and Hope in this room. And like, there's this scimitar that's like been stabbed into the ground, and Hope is reaching for it, trying to like get it so she can kill Bishop, because Bishop was like kind of unconscious. But then he comes to, and like sees Hope trying to like get the weapon to kill him, and they talk it out about. Well, they don't really talk it out, but you know, Hope's just like, you better be glad I can't reach this, or else I'd kill you. And then Bishop's like, well, you know, I know I tried to like, you know, kill you and hunt you down through 1,000 years and stuff, time traveling. And, you know, I kind of took away your childhood, but I didn't really mean, or I'm sorry about it. And it's like trying to apologize, and like Hope's not having any of it. And she's like, yeah, I'm gonna, as soon as I can, and as soon as I'm like free of these, like chains, because they're like wearing like they're kind of like locked up and stuff. She's like, I'm gonna kill you. Let's see, and then it goes back to LA, where X-Force versus X-Force is going down, and there's basically just like a throwdown that happens, and it all starts with Dr. Nemesis, because, you know, they're talking, and then Dr. Nemesis is like, dude, they have a teleporter, like, I gotta be able to like track them before they teleport away. So he like fires a tracker on Cable, but when he does that, Forge is like, Nemesis, no, and then after that it's just all downhill. It just starts the what's the word I was going to say? Skirmish. Or, what, skirmish? No, that's skirmish. There we go, skirmish. But yeah, so Spiral teleports away with Cable, and then they're like on this freeway, and then, you know, Boom Boom follows them and stuff. But yeah, there's basically just like a fight between the two teams, and then it goes back to the future, where Cable and Hope are being held, and they meet their captor. I guess I'll say who it is. It's so basically Strife has went back to when in the last issue, or the last issue of Cable and X-Force, when Hope and Bishop had confronted each other, and like he was able to like get them and then transport them back to the future, and then now he's holding them hostage. And he says, Bishop, you made a deal with me, and then you left me to rot under apocalypse in the future. So now I'm here to get my revenge. And then he hints that he's like gonna try and maybe cut a deal with Hope. Because he's like, I could give you what your wildest dreams are and have them come true. But then it goes back to LA and X-Force fighting, which is pretty entertaining, because you have good guys versus good guys, which is interesting. But yeah, because you have stuff where people are like fighting each other, and like it's like it just seems like they're trying to like de-escalate it, but it keeps escalating because like Forge is like, dude, chill out, and then he gets thrown against a wall when like Storm like does this wind attack on him, and then like he accidentally fires on her and like shoots her. And then like after he shoots her, like Psylocke's all over him, like if you ever do that again, and like all up in his face, like about to just like, yeah. And then there's like a whole telepathic conversation between Colossus and Psylocke about we can end this peacefully. And then Psylocke's like, no, this is the only way. And then Colossus is like, when did you become so dogmatic about having one way out of the situation? And then like Puck somehow Puck like comes through with like a 18-wheeler and hits him. It was like, what? So yeah, it's just like it's all over the place. Like is very entertaining throwdown, and then like boom throws a explosive at Psylocke and like blows her away. Well, not like literally, but she's like there's like an explosion and like incapacitates her. And then eventually Cable tells Dr. Nemesis to shoot Spiral with the nightmare serum or whatever, and I guess it like triggers her some sort of like nightmare, and she's like imagining all these mojos around her. And then he like gets to her and is like, okay, I can get you out of here, take me to these coordinates. And he has like this thing that he shows her, and then she teleports out. So he like manipulates her to teleport her to wherever Hope and Bishop are being held. And then they get there, and he's like, alright, well, now that we're here, you're going to continue to help me get to where we need to be. And then but before Spiral's like not really having any of it. She's like, well, I brought you where you wanted to be, so I'm done now. And then before anything else happens, it's like the last panel is basically Strife, and he's like, you're early, but for you I can be flexible, and it's like to be continued. So Vendetta part number 3 will be in Cable and X-Force number 19. I don't know how many parts this is going to be, but I will continue to read it as like, because I'm already reading Cable and X-Force, and I was reading Uncanny X-Force until like issue, I don't remember, but I was enjoying it. So since I probably will go back or like continue to read Uncanny X-Force after this, just because like until the Cassandra Nova arc, which I guess has wrapped according to the prelude into the current issue, it's like they just finished that, and then in the fight Bishop got the memories that he had ripped out of him when Psylocke and Storm, I think, like went into his mind. It was way back in Uncanny X-Force, I don't remember, but basically he showed up and he was like going berserk, and they didn't know what was wrong with him, and he had like this demon bear in his mind. It was interesting. But yeah, it's like I guess that's all resolved. But I think I'll go back to reading it, because I was enjoying it. But yeah, I stopped reading on issue 12, so issues 13, 14, and 15, I guess I'll need to... I'll go back and read them eventually, but they're kind of full price on the Comixology, so until then, I'll just read this crossover and, see where it leaves off, and if I want to continue. But I might jump back on it. I was enjoying it. But yeah, that's it for Uncanny X-Force number 16, and my thoughts on that. And I'll come back with Uncanny X-Men. Oh, Thunderbolts, that was the other issue. Thunderbolts number 20 is the other issue I picked up. So if I do another comic book talk for the rest of the stuff, that's what I'll be doing in the next video. Is Miracle Man, Thunderbolts, Daredevil, and Unity. But for this issue, I'll just keep it Cable or I'm sorry, Uncanny X-Force, Uncanny X-Men, which is next, and then all new X-Men. So that's what'll be next in the comic books talk. Blah, blah, blah. In the comic books talks coming up after this. Okay, so I just read Uncanny X-Men. Really, really good. So basically, for an all new X-Men and Uncanny X-Men, like all new X-Men, past X-Men have come back to like try to make Cyclops stop being a jerk. And then Uncanny X-Men, Cyclops' team, which is like Xavier, Emma Frost, Magic, him, some new mutants, and then at the end of Battle of the Atom, the past X-Men join Uncanny X-Men, and they're like, because Kitty's like, well, you guys wouldn't listen to me about the Brotherhood from the future, and blah, 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 so I'm joining Sky's team. She leaves New Jean Grey School to come to the new Xavier School, which is Cyclops' school for the gifted mutants, or humans, whatever. So during this whole time, you had like Dazzler become the mutant liaison for S.H.I.E.L.D., and it was like Dazzler, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but like not very long after she joined S.H.I.E.L.D., Mystique basically took she basically was masquerading as Dazzler because she's a shapeshifter, so she like knocked her out, took over a position as like S.H.I.E.L.D. liaison, as S.H.I.E.L.D. director. I mean as a mutant liaison for S.H.I.E.L.D. And so this issue is basically the conclusion to that whole arc, and it was really good because, you know, for the longest time in All New X-Men, you had like Mystique, Sabretooth, and Silver Samurai. They were robbing banks, and it was also Mystique, Sabretooth, Lady Mastermind, and Mystique. They were like teaming up to like use mental projections of themselves as the All New X-Men robbing banks, and like the whole time you're just like, where is this going? And like they're stealing all this money from all these banks, and so it leads into like this confrontation that they have with Lady Hydra, and they're like, well, or Mystique's like, well, I want to buy Madripoor from you, and so that deal goes down, but it goes south because the all new X-Men barge in, so it's like Wolverine, Kitty, and the all new X-Men take them down. But then Mystique gets away. Well, actually, okay, what happens is Mystique gets taken back to the raft, but she breaks out, and then, you know, so it's like, you know, they capture the bad guys, but the bad guys got away. So it was like, what the F? So I was kind of miffed about that. But then after seeing this issue, it's like, it kind of, you know, because like for the longest time I was like, where is this going? Like, what is going on here? Like, where is this going? It's like really, really good, but I'm like, I thought it was kind of, I personally thought it was like a bit fizzle-tastic as far as like, why would they want to buy Madripoor? But then this issue gets into like the whole, you know, what was going down in Madripoor the whole time. Mystique was like masquerading as Dazzler, and it was really, really good. And like also in like another issue, you had like Dazzler. I mean, well, it was Mystique as Dazzler, and she was watching Hydra, and I think it was the Hand or some other ninja force people, and they're like taking on Hydra on Madripoor. I basically had like, I guess she like set them up, I don't know, but she's like watching that go down. It was, I think it might have been an issue before, if not during Battle of the Atom, but that happened, and so you find out about that in here too. But it was just, yeah, let's get to the issue. Also, in Uncanny X-Men, I'm sorry, it's just really good. Bendis is just doing like a good job of like having multiple like stories like in one ongoing series of like what's happening parallel to each other at the same time. So another thing that's been happening is that you've been having these Sentinel attacks on Uncanny X-Men, Cyclops' team, whenever they go out in public and they don't know where the Sentinels are coming from. And like before Battle of the Atom, they were attacked on a campus in Michigan, and so, you know, you didn't know, are they from the future? Is that what we're going to go into in Battle of the Atom, and like find out if these Sentinels are from the future? But then we found out in Battle of the Atom that S.H.I.E.L.D. themselves were developing anti-mutant Sentinels, so that's another whole thing that's going on too. So yeah, we go back in this issue, and it starts off, and you're back on the Michigan campus that the Uncanny X-Men were attacked at with Sentinels. And so the issue before Battle of the Atom, that was like what happened. You were basically left on hold on like, you know, where are these Sentinels coming from, and like, are we going to get back to this? And like, we get back to it here. Well, we don't really get back to it, but it is like touched upon again to like, you know, just to like remind you that's a whole other thread of all these things going on in Uncanny. It's like, oh man, just I love Uncanny X-Men. But yeah, another plot thread. So Magneto's there, and it's really weird what happens because like there's like a demonstration going on, but it's by humans who are like pro mutant, and they're like, mutants should have civil rights, and we shouldn't be persecuting them. And so you have Magneto who's there, and then it seems like he's having this like daydream of like having his powers manifest, and then just like proceeding to massacre all the people that are there. That like you don't know about our struggle as mutants. Like, what do you know about being mutants? But then it shows him like snap back into reality because Dazzler's there as a mutant liaison. Also, I just remembered like another cool thing about Uncanny is like, so Magneto is like double agent for S.H.I.E.L.D. on Scott's team, but he's actually like a triple agent because he told Cyclops about this. So he's like working for Uncanny X-Men as a mole for S.H.I.E.L.D. working against Uncanny X-Men, but not really because he's on Scott's side. So it's super cool right now because Magneto's like a triple agent just all up in S.H.I.E.L.D.'s business, and like, he's like, I could tell you what you want to know about Cyclops, but you got to give me some information. And then like after the Sentinel stuff happened, he's like, dudes, I'm not giving anything up until you tell me where the Sentinels are coming from and like what's up with that. So it's like, man, it is just so good right now. But yeah, so back to like where we're at. So he has like this crazy daydream about killing all these humans, and then Dazzler's there, and he's like, mutant liaison Dazzler, or agent Dazzler, because there's like this whole thing about like the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Maria Hill, and like Dazzler, and then she like always like calls her stuff that's like not Agent Dazzler, and then Dazzler will be like, Agent Dazzler, call me Agent Dazzler, and like she never calls her that. It's just funny, but yeah. So Magneto and Dazzler are there, and then Magneto doesn't know that Dazzler is Mystique, so he's like talking to Dazzler about this like this is a crime scene. Why isn't it being combed through by S.H.I.E.L.D.? Yada yada yada. If S.H.I.E.L.D. was attacked here, you'd have a dome and be going over it. Blah 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 blah. And then yeah, they're basically just like talking about the whole issue between mutants and what's going down right now. And then she says something about when Cyclops killed Professor X, nobody really cared to like ask if there was anything wrong with you. And then my brain's like trying to recover, but basically she talks about like, we know your powers are broken, and maybe it has something to do with, what did she say? It was like, yeah, like, do you ever wonder if maybe your dramatic power loss is psychosomatic? And then he doesn't respond to that, and then she says, oh, so you're saying you're better now? And then they basically they keep talking, and then she brings up Madripoor because he tells her like what the status of his powers are, because they're not fully up there. He's like, I can't throw a tank, but I can throw a knife or a bullet. And then he's asking her for information, and he's like, so you have nothing for me? Nothing about the Sentinels, nothing about the... And then Dazzler's like, hey, you heard about what's going down in Madripoor? And he's like, Madripoor? Nothing. I've been busy. And he's like, okay, tell me about what's going down in Madripoor. And then she's basically like, it's kind of like Genosha meets Las Vegas. It's somewhere mutants can be mutants and just walk around and be free. Something that, you've always dreamed of. You should go down there and check it out. And so he goes down to Madripoor, and there's all these mutants walking around, but then he sees them like what's that word? Anyway, there's like a group of mutants hanging out on the street, and then they're like getting these like drugs, it looks like, from this bar or whatever. And he goes in there, and he's like, who's in charge in here? He like walks into this beatdown because like all the dudes in there are like, you look American, are you CIA, are you S.H.I.E.L.D.? And they start attacking him. So he has to like use his powers to like get him off of him. It's pretty cool what he does. And then he's like, okay, where are you guys getting this mutant growth hormone that you're spraying through the streets and stuff? And then they're like, Hydra, Hydra, it's not us. We work for you now. Go to the Hydra's HQ. That's not what it's called, but go there. And so he heads over to like the Hydra HQ, and he sees the Blob, who is in this like, it's pretty hilarious because he's in like a Hawaiian shirt. So I thought that's pretty funny. And he's like, and then like Magneto's all, so Blob, are you in charge? And are you running this? Is this all your setup? Because like the whole time he's there, he's like, okay, who's the head of the operation here? And so he goes to Blob, and he's like, nope, it's not me, but let's see. They're waiting for you, or they come with me. They want you to make an entrance. And then so he goes to like the top of the building, and it's like a helipad. And then you can see in the background behind him that it's Sabretooth and Silver Samurai. So this is like all coming to a head right here. And so, he's like, oh, hey, Sabretooth's like, hey, Eric, hey, Silver Samurai. And then, a helicopter's landed, then out walks Dazzler, and then Magneto's like, Dazzler, you dragged me halfway across the world, you couldn't tell me back in, and then like before you can finish the sentence, Dazzler transforms back into Mystique, and then she's like, I didn't drag you all the way around the world. Or she's like, no, I dragged you all the way around the world for this. And then it's like she turns into Mystique, and she's like telling him what the deal is and like what's going down, and basically how the whole time that she was like being a mole, well, not really being a mole, but like masquerading as Dazzler for S.H.I.E.L.D. and just like making excuses of like, to be in Madripoor to say stuff was going down, that she was like setting up shop in Madripoor to like turn it into like a mutant safe haven, similar to Utopia or Genosha. But she's like, this is even better, and I've set us up here, and I just want you to like, I did this all for you, so you can like get in on the ground level, and I know this has been your dream for like the longest time, blah 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 blah. And then I'm trying to think, like, when does someone say something about this? Like, oh yeah. Okay, so basically, since she was like saying stuff about the death of Professor X and like Scott Summers killing him and all that stuff earlier, and how it like broke his powers and how it like affected him, but like nobody knows what's wrong with Magneto. Like, I guess like mentally, like what the emotions of like that, what that event caused to him are, because everybody's been like so focused on Cyclops. She's like, well, I don't like where Cyclops is leading us as like a species or a race or whatever, and she's like, so and you haven't really been doing anything with your dream, and it's kind of faded away. And he's like, my dream was to usher our people into their new role as a dominant species. What the hell is this? Because he's like talking about all the mutant growth hormone that you like saw being smuggled like in the streets and like passed around, and then he's like, what is this nightmare? And he like just gets like really angry and just like attacks them. But like before he attacks them, like Mystique says like this really great line. She's like, Eric, you have to let go of some of these things that you carry around with you. Look how far you've fallen. You've all but given up on your dream. You live in hiding with Scott Summers. And so she says that, and then like that just like I guess I would say he kind of snaps, because from then on he just like attacks everybody that's on top of the building, and just like he says his powers are like he's like, they've been like alluding to his powers being broken, but he just like goes ballistic on everybody up there. And just like he storms out and like leaves, and then it goes back to the new Xavier school, and Cyclops is just like looking at a monitor, and he's like, where's Magneto? And then there's like this whole conversation with Kitty and Emma, and then Kitty's like, where does he go when he's not here? And Emma's like, couldn't tell you. He never knows, Kitty. And then Cyclops is like, yeah, I don't know. He's never been gone this long. And then Emma's like, he'll come back. Where else would he go? Or where else is he going to go? And then like it's weird, because it totally is just like a tease for like the new ongoing series for Magneto, which is going to be Magneto #1, which is what it says in the to be continued. It's like, Magneto will be seen next in Magneto #1. I was like, so I'm not going to know what happened or where he went unless I read that, but I don't really want to have another book on my pull list. I think I might check out issue number 1 though, and then if I really like it, I'll keep on with it. But because for me, it's like I thought this was cool because Mystique like made him an offer he couldn't refuse, and it basically felt like he was either gonna abandon the Uncanny X-Men or just like start off anew with like another Brotherhood team and just like start building from there. But he didn't, so that was interesting. So it's like I don't know like what he's gonna do if he doesn't go back to Uncanny. Is he gonna like what's he gonna like? What's his like new vision or dream or goal, and like how will he go about like getting those like that achieved? But then it's cool because like also, or I guess it's also cool because since the next issue is field training and like it has like all the new X-Men, which another reason I like this book is like all the new mutants that have their powers I like have no idea how to use them. So you have Gold Balls who can shoot gold orbs out of himself, and you have Tempest, who's like she can freeze time and time. I think she can freeze time and do other stuff with time. She hasn't really been like completely explored as far as like her power set. Triage, who's the dude that can heal people, and then you have the Cuckoo Sisters, and you have Hijack, who can take control of like any electric. I'm not sure if it's any electric device or if it's any machine. So yeah. And then you have Benjamin Deeds. I think they called him Morph in his last issue. Yeah, that was great. And he can basically he has like some sort of like interesting thing where he is a shapeshifter, but his like the properties of his ability are not where he can just turn into anybody. It's like he has to get to know you, or not get to know you, but like it's like an emotional level. It works on like an emotional level of where he will shapeshift into something, and then you will trust him and like nonchalantly go about your business and just have a conversation, and then he can just like blend in with you, and he morphs into like a form that is very trustworthy. Either that, or he turns into like something that's very like self-reflective. So it's like you're talking to yourself, but you don't notice that he's changed form. So it's pretty cool like how his powers work. But that was Uncanny X-Men. It was really good. I'm loving Uncanny X-Men. So, Uncanny X-Men is great. And final book, will be all new X-Men that I'll talk about in this video. Even though I'm at like 30 minutes or whatever, I'll keep it going. So, yeah. Talking about all new X-Men, number something after this. Okay, so I just read All New X-Men number 21, and it takes place, basically in the previous issue. I'll explain this after I do this synopsis, but like it takes place after the X-Men have just been incapacitated by Stryker. So it has like a flashback to like years ago, and then you had Stryker's dad, and apparently like he had some scientists come in to like do some stuff to his son to either suppress his mutant powers or to make him have anti-mutant abilities. And then you flash forward back to the present where the X-Men are incapacitated. It's really funny what happens, but it's weird because you have like Stryker's about to like kill him, but then one of his henchmen is like, wait a minute, if we kill them and you said these are the original X-Men and they're from the past, wouldn't that create some sort of time paradox or butterfly effect? So they just like go back and forth about that idea for like the longest while. And then he's like, okay, let me call in someone, or like the henchman like says like maybe we should just call somebody that like knows more about this than us. And so then it like goes to like the different rooms that all the different X-Men are being held in, and it has X-23, and it has like scenes from Avengers Arena, which was pretty cool. So apparently like it actually did happen, or I don't know. I haven't read it, so I'm not sure like what went down. I just know like the premise is that like they were fighting each other to like the death on some sort of like game show or something. But yeah, that was pretty cool. So it's like, because like when you find, or when X-23 like is found by the all new X-Men, and like Jean goes into her mind, like she's just like, oh, it's been a year of torture for her, and they've been doing things to her and making her do all these things, and so yeah, I guess either it all happened or she imagined it all happening. I don't know. I haven't read Avengers. I haven't read Avengers Arena yet, so I'm not sure like what's up with that. But yeah, so yeah, that happens, And then let's see what happens next. So yeah, it just goes through like all the different X-Men and like where they're being held, and they like bring it, and then like when the air quote expert gets there, it's like this who's this lady? Monica Rappaccini. I don't know how to pronounce that. An AIM doctor, and then she's like, Dr. Stryker, AIM is here, and she's got some AIM dudes with her. And so they tell her what's going on, and they're like, we captured these X-Men, and we're about to kill them. And we just wanted to like make sure everything's gonna be cool. And then she's like, yeah, that'd be a bad idea, because then you'd create a time paradox, and that'd be like the least terrible thing that would happen. And then she's like looking over them, and she's like, oh, but you can kill this one. Like when she sees Kitty Pryde, she's like, yeah, this is like the current time Kitty Pryde. She's not from the past. You can go and kill her. So that was kind of messed up. And then like as that's going down, and like they're having like a conversation about that, you have like Jean trying to like to get in everybody's mind, like checking on them to like see if they're awake or like still unconscious. And then like she goes to X-23, and X-23 is like, no, get out of my mind. And then she gets into Scott, and then she's telling her like the plan that she has. Or does she have a plan? Because I think Scott's, let's see. Oh, she's like, yeah, can you hear my thoughts? And so I guess they're like formulating a plan to like get them out of there. And so she like removes because they tape Cyclops' glasses on, and then she like telekinetically removes the like glass from his tape, or the tape from his glasses. And then eventually everybody else comes to as well, because like, while this is all happening, it's just the AIM doctor and the Stryker dude talking. And then she mentioned something about like, like how is your, like, I read your genetic file on my way here, how's your condition worsening or getting better or whatever. And she's like, headaches, do you ever sleep? And he's like, I never sleep. And then she's like, that's not good, then you should come in for a checkup. Cause, if you don't, I'm not going to get into it, but like I saw something on something where if you don't sleep, you like one of the side effects of not sleeping is like you become more psychotic or crazy, or you go crazy if you don't sleep, right, essentially. So like, since he's never sleeping, he's kind of like going off the deep end. But you can like tell that if you've been the striker dude is just like out there. He's just like he rambles and rambles, dude, and just he's crazy. But yeah, so then before they can like. She also says that like she's been like AIM has been working on like a DNA splicing between mutants and the Inhumans that have been popping up, and like trying to like to splice their DNA or something, because they had come up with a way to suppress the mutant gene. But when all the Inhumans came around and started popping up, they tried to like to splice the two together. And so Stryker's like, oh, so you decided to mix those abominations with the other abominations to create even more abominations. And then before they can like cut Kitty Pryde, or she was about to like cut Kitty Pryde to get some of her DNA, and so before she can do that though, Kitty wakes up, and then she like just goes through her because she phases, and then Stryker tries to like hit her with like an energy beam, but she like phases through the floor, and he misses, and he hits doesn't hit the Hydra lady, but like it hits in like there's like a splash damage effect where she just gets like hit, and so the X-Men basically break free, and then like fight off the purifiers. Yeah, that's what they're called. And so it's funny because like as all this is happening, Kitty Pryde's like on a cell phone calling Shield, or I guess she's calling Shield because she's like, Maria Hill, oh, what do you mean she's not there? And she's like, well, if you want to come find these AIM doctors and the purifiers that the X-Men just took out, you can totally come to this location or whatever on like a cell phone while she's fighting. It's pretty funny. But yeah, that happens. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, they break out, and then when they're, like, breaking each other out of their cells, for some reason, X-23 is, like, huddled in a corner in her room, but then Cyclops goes over there, and he tells her, like, Beast and Angel and Iceman, who are with him, go get the others, I'll see what's going on over here. And then, like, X-23 jumps up to, like, hug him, so, yeah. But they take care of it, and then they save the day, and everything's cool. And then it's like next issue, the trial of Jean Grey, and then like the preview for the cover is like the Guardians of the Galaxy are on it, and then the all new X-Men are on it. So that'll be cool because I've been reading Guardians of the Galaxy as well. So that'd be interesting to see if there's gonna be some sort of crossover. I have no idea, but yeah, good issue. pretty much a follow-up to, or just a, yeah, I'm trying to think of the word. Wraps up the previous adventures they were having in the last issue of they got attacked and then they got out of the sticky situation that they're in the last issue. And the next issue, it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, it's been it for the comic books talks this week. I was gonna say at the beginning, like, you know, I was gonna try to make a video of like all the stuff on my pull list and like what I'm currently reading, so you can like know what to expect every week. Because I think I'm gonna keep this format where it's just like the 3 books I'm looking forward to the most, and then doing synopsises on those. And if I have any other time after that, like doing another video, because this took like what 35 minutes. I'm sorry. So, you know, thanks if you stuck all the way through it. And that's my thoughts on the stuff I've been reading this week. So, you know, until next video, or until you hear or see from me again, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, favorite, share it with your friends or not. That's cool. And until you see or hear from me again, I'm now signing off.